New poll. Let's go to it right now.
So is the president losing Republicans?
No. Look, this is still Donald Trump's Republican Party, and we can see it here. It's like a rock, to quote Bob Seger. I mean, take a look here. Republicans who approve of Trump. 6 months ago, it was 87%. Now, well, hello, it's the same number. It's 87%. He has not lost any support among Republicans compared to 6 months ago. As I said at the beginning, he's like a rock. He's like a rock. The Republican base is sticking by Donald Trump at this point in time.
It really is interesting to watch his overall approval rating go down, 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 but see this be completely constant here.
It is among independents. It is not among Republicans.
Okay, so how does this compare to past presidents in a second term?
Yeah, okay. I think this gives the game away, right? Which is Donald Trump, if you look at 21st century presidents' own party approval at this point in term two, who leads the pack? It's Donald John Trump. 87% of Republicans approve Donald John Trump. You go back to 2013, 78% of Democrats supported Barack Obama, and it was 78% of Republicans who supported George W. Bush back in 2005 at this point. So Donald Trump has the biggest highest own party approval of any president who served their entire second term in the 21st century.
You could look at this one of two ways. You could say, obviously, he's doing way better than past presidents. Or you could say, there is still room to settle. If there is a reversion to the mean here, if that does fall further, that could chip into his overall approval rating. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning from Congress in January. One of the concerns is that Donald Trump backed someone in a primary against her. How has Donald Trump done in his congressional endorsements?
You know, when you go up against Donald Trump, you're going up against a buzzsaw, because Donald Trump's endorsement record is, it's hard to find anyone else who beats it. Times Trump endorsees won GOP primaries. In 2020, it was 98%. 2022, it was 95%.
This is interesting because the left would have you typically think otherwise. Watch.
In 2024, it was 96%. And I will note, the majority of times that Donald Trump backed a challenger to an incumbent like Marjorie Taylor Greene, that challenger won a majority of the time. The bottom line is this. There was a real reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene decided, you know what, it's not worth the fight, because more times than not, when you go up against Donald Trump in a Republican primary, you lose.
Not just more times than not, almost all times.
Almost all of the times, yes.
Based on these. All right, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's saying she's not going to run for president, but there are other questions, which is, hey, is she going to stay a Republican even? What do the markets think about that?
All right, so we go to the prediction markets here, and the chance to leave the Republican Party by January 1st of 2027. You can see it, 31%. I think this is a pretty good baseline, which is more likely than not Marjorie Taylor Greene will stay within the Republican ranks, but there's actually a pretty decent chance that she doesn't. And then that becomes really interesting to see what she has to say about Republicans and Donald Trump in particular if she decides to wave adios amigos.
This is the Republicans, the prediction market saying there is a chance.
There is a chance.
Harriet, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
There's a chance. There's a chance. Well, there's a chance at anything. But, you know, partly the reason there's a chance is because the last time she was on The View, which was like, 10 days ago, she was asked, hey, are you planning on becoming a Democrat? And she started sort of moving in that direction, albeit she's still America first. I mean, it's getting very confusing. It's hard to keep up with MTG and all her little spinning that she's doing. But I think the bottom line here is good luck. Good luck trying to divide the Trump base. That chart, that poll, it says it all. The fact that she has to leave after everything she pulled. I think she saw that she wasn't getting anywhere. And I think she figured, okay, I got to scramble. I got to get a job in corporate America, or I got to get a job on the circus of all circus shows, The View. And hey, they'd be smart together given that they have no conservatives. I'd love to see them actually get someone that supports Trump. But I think anybody that actually supports Trump would be out of their mind to go on the show, right? Just absolutely out of their mind. Who needs that? What a toxic, awful, terrible environment. And yes, the president is right when he says ABC is a lousy network. Remember the other day when they were in the Oval Office with MBS and there was that ABC News reporter and she was like really aggressive and she starts asking like MBS basically, why are you here? Because you murdered Khashoggi. And he's a little caught off guard. And so then the president, I think in an effort to kind of save the situation, it's like a little kid with good sort of social instincts, jumps in and then like just swings at her and says, I think ABC needs to deserve to lose its license. And you're just a terrible reporter for asking such an aggressive question in this environment. Again, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not that it was a bad question, right? Because our CIA does have intelligence suggesting that MBS said, okay. So fine. But is it the right venue at that particular moment to ask it? On top of which, she was pushing him pretty darn hard on the Epstein stuff, which we all know is coming back to bite the you-know-who's in the you-know-what. Anyway, here is Donald Trump speaking with that ABC reporter, and I'm telling you, it actually might be one of the reasons why Iger and company over at Disney and ABC are so serious about getting someone like MTG on that horrible, god-awful show. It's not coming up, but you know what I'm talking about, right? You know the one where they're talking with MBS, and he's like, "You are not only a terrible reporter, you're a terrible person, and you work for a terrible network. And we have a great FCC chairman, Brendan Carr. I want him to be investigating you because you know what, or the network that is, ABC News should lose its license." So there's a lot of anger right now, but understandably so. I mean, think about what we've all been through, right? Over the last however many years. It was a lot. And unfortunately, the way Washington works, the way the media works, everybody's on the left. Like everybody. I've told you the stories, right? When I worked in San Francisco and they started cheering when Enron went down, and I was like, guys, you do understand that like those are people that are going to lose their jobs. You likely have some money in your 401k in Enron. Like this is not something to cheer, but they hate capitalism. So journalists hate capitalism, and yet they're oddly capitalists themselves because so many of them are making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Funny how that works, right? Anyway, they are very left in all of these newsrooms, and they're very much aligned with some of the people in the deep state that are also very, very left. And then that takes on a political overture. I want to show you, case in point, our friend Scott Jennings was on Kara Swisher's show. She's like a tech reporter turned evangelist for the left. Anyway, she goes and like starts grilling him, and it's brilliant because he's like, "What the heck are you talking about, lady?" She's effectively sanctioning any of the funny business that the deep state would actually do, just saying, well, whatever. Like, we're all big boys. It's politics. Excusez-moi, please.
The story was true. There wasn't really any dispute of that, other than from these 50 people who come from government, who are in and out of government when Democrats are in power.
That's politics to me, Scott. I mean, you're not naive. They were making their case, just like you would say Trump just did with whatever issue he has.
Well, I don't agree that it's just a simple matter of making your case. When you use your government title and you use your intelligence bona fides and you use all your credentials to flat out lie to the American people, they didn't know that. That was a political argument, but they were saying this is Russian disinformation. What you're reading is directly out of the Kremlin. It was one of the biggest lies that was told to try to get Joe Biden over the finish line. Do you think that's just politics as usual?
Yes, I do, actually. I do.
You like it?
Absolutely. I don't.
Moron. Like, I'm sorry. That was like one of those SNL moments. Like, you remember with, I digress. But I think that was a pretty funny exchange because she's so blinded by her own view of things that she doesn't understand that when you have the former head of the CIA and the former head of the Department of National Intelligence, and you have all of these people coming forward, and they're saying that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real, it was just misinformation fed to you courtesy of Rudy Giuliani and the Russians. Do you understand how damaging that is? You remember what happened to the organization, the New York Post, America's like longest living newspaper, founded by Alexander Hamilton? They lost their Twitter account. It's actually one of the reasons why Elon went forward and bought what is now X. There were plenty of people that got knocked off of social media altogether. I mean, there were like just things that you weren't allowed to say. And this was one of them, right? So because it was politics, and yet she's treating this like, oh, it's just politics. No. These were people within the intelligence community spewing lies, and they knew they were lies, and they did it anyway. That's not cool. And when we think about what's going on today, And you got them all back up again, like lying, saying, okay, to the military, well, you don't have to follow your orders because we think that Donald Trump is some kind of fascist dictator. I mean, they're once again out there with their political agenda.